From the subreddit Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole? For refusing to remove my prosthetic for my boyfriend? I, 19F, have a below-the-knee prosthetic as I lost my lower left leg as a child in a car accident. I move well in it and it in no way hinders my day-to-day life. I've been seeing a guy, 24M, for 5 months now and things are going great for the most part. The one issue I'd say is that he is insistent on me removing my prosthetic around him. We could be hanging out and he'd suggest I'd be more comfortable with it off, or heading to bed to have sex he'd suggest that it may be better to remove it. His suggestions have become requests as I kept ignoring the suggestions and I finally told him I wasn't comfortable with removing my leg around him yet as I didn't feel we were there. My leg, despite the fact I can move well in it, is a source of trauma for me due to bullying and having had past partners be repulsed once I took it off around them, and I told him as much, but all he took from that is I don't trust him and think he'd be swayed and not like me anymore. I don't take my prosthetic off around anyone except immediate family and very close friends, as without it my mobility is greatly decreased. I thought since everything else is going so well he'd understand this, but he is upset and angry seeing this as me not trusting him and thinking he'd do something, which is why I don't want to take it off around him. I'm starting to feel some pressure here. I like him a lot and maybe I'm making it into a bigger deal than it has to be. I don't want to upset him and maybe I'm being unfair. Not the asshole. He needs to respect where you're coming from. His pushiness is sus. Either emotionally immature or he's got a fetish you don't know about yet. Boundaries, people, boundaries. It's okay to not feel comfortable doing something with around someone. You stated your concern / boundaries. And unfortunately he became aggressive about it. I wouldn't stand for that. Have a chat with him. Say, hey, these are my boundaries and respect them or leave. You shouldn't have to feel forced to do anything that reminds you of trauma. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. But not the asshole. You see that he is making your comfort less important than his, and by trying to manipulate you into taking your leg off because it threatens his fees. You don't feel comfortable taking your leg off. End of story and discussion. Does anyone else find this controlling? Not the asshole, but move on. It sounds as though you're his kind of kink. Not the asshole. I really hope he's not pressuring you to satisfy his kink. Not the asshole. At all. But reading this I get the feeling someone has a kink. Not the asshole. I'm going to be honest, my first thought wasn't kink. Like a lot of other users, my first thought was that he doesn't want you to be able to easily / quickly escape him if you needed to. Even if it isn't either of those, it's your leg, your decision, not his. And his attitude and insistence just reinforces that you are right not to feel like you're at that level of intimacy with him. Not the asshole. Not for him to dictate how your prosthetic is or isn't worn. Not for him to dictate when you are comfortable taking it off. That is entirely up to you, and he is being an for pushing this after you've told him no. Not the asshole. Your boyfriend's insistence that you remove your prosthetic is odd. You repeatedly have explained you prefer to keep it on, once should have been enough. Not the asshole. He needs to get a grip. Personally, I would wonder why it is so important to you that you remove it. A fetish or something? Not the asshole. There's a problem on his end if he refuses to accept your decision. Not the asshole. If you are uncomfortable, then don't do it. My guess is this is as much about his morbid curiosity as your comfort. His confusion might come from that you are comfortable enough to have intimacy with him and has seen your prosthetic on full display and not comfortable just taking it off. Not the asshole. Stand your ground. He needs to respect your boundaries, and if he doesn't now / tries to pressure you, it's only going to get worse. Not the asshole. It's fucked up of him to be trying to pressure you into doing something you're not comfortable doing. You are allowed to have personal boundaries. And please don't let him have his way here. Never sacrifice your comfortability for someone else's. Also, this is his hang-up, not yours, although I'm not sure if the hang-up is a control thing or actually about your prosthetic, but it's still his issue. So, you gave him several justifiable reasons why you don't want to, which you did not need to do. Honestly, a simple nah should have sufficed, and his takeaway was I'm not gonna do anything. Why is that where his head went? Why is it that how he feels is more important than how you feel? Do you really want to continue seeing someone that does not prioritize your comfort? Not the asshole. If you do take your prosthetic off, only do it to knock him over the head with it. Not the asshole. So many fishy red flags. He is guilting you for feeling uncomfortable. Partners don't do that. Also, the fact he is so insistent makes me think it's an amputee kink, or worse, a dominating can't run kink. Either way up, you are not being unfair. You need to think about this relationship and possibly end it. I know I would. Your BFS creepy. Not the asshole. I'm married with a mortgage and 2 kids, and my husband and I are both still entitled to our boundaries. Being in a relationship, romantic or otherwise, does not entitle another person to full access to your body, mind, or personal space. It feels like if my husband insisted, I'd be more comfortable with no shirt on all day despite my own feelings about my body. That's not for me, that's for him. This dude's behavior as you've described it makes me very uncomfortable, and I'd be hesitant to continue such a relationship.